Few people know this, but not all angels obeyed God. And among those who fell came giants, forbidden magic, and a corruption that nearly destroyed the world before the flood. This part of the story was silenced, hidden from common sermons. But what almost no one knows is that 4 angels were chosen to confront this celestial rebellion, and their actions forever changed the fate of the earth. This isn't a story about cute little angels with wings. It's an ancient war between light and darkness, between loyalty and betrayal, between heaven and a group of angels who crossed the boundaries of creation. Raphael, Michael, Uriel, and Gabriel. Their names still echo today, but what they did back then remains shrouded in mystery. Who were these 4 beings? What was the price of their obedience? And why do so many try to hide this truth? If you feel there's more than what you've been taught, if you seek to understand the spiritual roots of the chaos we see today, then this video will open your eyes. Follow this revelation to the end and get ready to see the world through new eyes. Leave a comment with the word "Watcher" and let's start the conversation. Subscribe to the channel and like this video. Your support is very important and helps us continue this journey of light and purpose. Thank you. This enigmatic phrase, often overlooked by readers, conceals one of the most disturbing episodes in the spiritual narrative: a forbidden union between angels and human women. It was not merely about desire, but a rebellion against the boundaries established by the Creator. In the apocryphal texts, especially the Book of Enoch, this rebellion is described in detail. 200 angels, led by Semjaza, sealed a pact on Mount Hermon. They decided to descend to earth and bear children with women, the Nephilim, giants of unmatched strength and destructive spirit. But their sin was not limited to fornication. These celestial beings taught men mysteries that belonged only to the higher realms: alchemy, witchcraft, metalworking, astrology, and cosmetics. Humanity, which once walked in divine simplicity, was now guided by fallen hands. Among these fallen angels, Azazel stood out for his malignant influence. He was the one who taught men to craft swords, spears, and shields. He taught women to adorn themselves with artifices, awakening vanity and pride. The earth plunged into a spiral of violence and lust. The Nephilim began to devour everything: animals, crops, and even human beings. And as if that weren't enough, their thirst for power and domination grew. The world created by God had become unrecognizable, stained by a perversion that surpassed the bounds of the natural. The faithful angels who still dwelled in the heavens watched the degradation with sorrow. Enoch, the prophet, was raised as a witness and scribe of justice. In his visions, he saw heaven stirred with indignation. The voices of the righteous cried out, and the tears of the earth rose like incense before the throne. Then the Most High issued his decree. The watchers would be judged, but this sentence would not be carried out by just any being. 4 angels were appointed to fulfill the divine order, each with a specific, relentless, and eternal mission. Uriel, whose name means fire of God or light of God, is one of the most mysterious figures among the angels mentioned in ancient writings. He doesn't play a prominent role in the canonical scriptures, but he holds immense importance in the Book of Enoch, where he is described as the angel who illuminates darkness with the knowledge of judgment. He is not a warrior who wields a sword, but a messenger of divine truth. It was he who received the mission to warn Noah about the coming flood, revealing the punishment that would fall upon the earth because of the corruption caused by the Watchers and their offspring, the giants. His main mission was clear: to denounce. Uriel is sent by God to show Enoch the secrets of heaven and earth, the celestial cycles, the movements of the stars, and the workings of creation. But more than that, he reveals to Enoch the abysses where the fallen angels would be imprisoned forever. Uriel is the bearer of condemnation, the one who proclaims the sentence of the Most High. He does not destroy with his hands, but with words that carry the weight of eternity. His role is to expose the crimes of the Watchers before divine justice, like a herald announcing the end of impunity. Uriel guides Enoch through terrible and sublime places. He takes him to the desert of Jude, a dark and scorched land where Azazel will be cast and imprisoned beneath jagged rocks. He shows him the fallen stars, rebellious angels chained in darkness, awaiting the day of great judgment. His task was not only to guide, but to teach Enoch to record everything with precision. It is Uriel who opens the prophet's eyes to understand the mysteries of time, justice, and retribution. He acts as the messenger of conscience, awakening prophetic vision in the face of the chaos unleashed on earth. The burden Uriel carries is no light one. He represents the light that disturbs those who dwell in darkness, the revelation that shatters the comfort of ignorance. His presence marks the beginning of the fall of the rebellious angels, for he exposes their secrets to divine judgment. By illuminating Enoch's path, Uriel also opens the way for the other three angels who will come with even harsher orders. Justice begins with light, and light begins with him. Among the four angels sent to confront the Watchers, Raphael carries a unique role. He does not come only to destroy, but to restore. His name means God heals, and his mission is deeply tied to the purification of creation. In the Book of Enoch, the Most High commands him to capture Azazel, the angel who most corrupted the earth. Raphael is to cast him into the darkness, imprison him in Jude, cover him with sharp stones, and leave him there until the day of judgment. This action is not merely punishment, it is a spiritual detoxification of the earth. Azazel was no ordinary angel. He introduced to humanity the arts of war, vanity, and lust. Through his teachings, men forged weapons of destruction, and women transformed their bodies into instruments of seduction. Raphael, as the angel of healing, represents the divine response to this moral disease. By sealing Azazel in the abyss, he halts the source of demonic influence that was spreading like invisible poison. And while the physical world was being devastated by the Nephilim, Raphael was working to contain the spiritual root of the corruption. Raphael also symbolizes regeneration. His presence is not marked by thunder or fire, but by a restoring silence. He doesn't need to shout or roar. His mission is precise, surgical, relentless. He represents the invisible side of divine justice, the one that not only judges, but cleanses, purifies, and balances. In the apocryphal records, he is not seen slaying giants or leading battles, but his role is just as decisive as any flaming sword. By removing Azazel, Raphael breaks one of the pillars sustaining the presence of evil among men. But his mission doesn't end with the imprisonment. Raphael is also the guardian of the earth. He tends to the wounded creation, the tainted nature, the lost balance. He heals the world, preparing the ground for what is yet to come, the full judgment of the rebellious angels and the end of their giant offspring. And as he seals the depths of Jude, a new order approaches, now led by the force of another angel, who will not come to heal, but to wage war. Michael. Among all the angels mentioned in Scripture, his name resounds with singular authority, meaning, who is like God? He is the leader of the heavenly hosts, the defender of heaven, and the protector of God's people. In the Book of Enoch, Michael is charged with confronting the leaders of the rebellious Watchers, especially Semjaza. His mission is direct, clear, and non-negotiable, to bring an end to the disorder initiated by those who rebelled against the divine will. Michael is the strong arm of justice, the executor of the Most High's authority on the invisible battlefields. Unlike Raphael, who works with healing precision, Michael presents himself as the general of spiritual warfare. He descends to intimidate, to break infernal alliances, and to impose the fear that comes from the throne of God. The apocryphal texts present him as the one who closely observes the transgressions of the watchers and cries out for the intervention of the supreme judge. He is the angel who intercedes for the righteous, who sees the cries of the innocent, and who moves not by emotion, but by absolute obedience to the divine command. His presence silences the rebels and gives courage to the faithful. In Enoch's visions, Michael is described as one who has compassion for the sons of men, interceding before the Lord so that the afflicted are not forgotten. But make no mistake, his compassion is accompanied by indestructible strength. Michael does not merely act against the fallen angels, he subdues them, scatters them, and breaks their profane alliances. He is the sword of truth that cuts through the lies spread by the corrupted wisdom of the watchers. Wherever Michael goes, the heavens are reorganized, and the gates of rebellion begin to crumble. With Michael, the war takes shape. He represents the beginning of direct confrontation, where heaven bends to intervene in human history. He is not just an angel. He is the line that separates chaos from order, justice from impunity. But his mission, though powerful, is only one part of divine execution. For the judgment to be complete, it is not enough to confront the fathers of corruption. The fruits must also be destroyed. And this will be the task of the fourth angel, whose coming will carry the weight of final judgment. Gabriel, whose name means strength of God, appears in the apocryphal texts as the one who carries the harshest of missions, to eliminate the Nephilim, the offspring of the fallen angels and human women. If Raphael heals, Uriel reveals, and Michael wars, Gabriel executes. He is the angel sent to cut corruption off at the root. His command is clear: destroy the giants, turn them against one another, fulfill the heavenly verdict, and bring an end to the profaned lineage that devours the earth. There is no mercy, only judgment. In the Book of Enoch, it is God's voice that commands, "Stir up the children of the watchers against one another. Let them slay each other." Gabriel descends with this decree in hand. The earth had become a field of violence and degradation where the Nephilim reigned as tyrants. Possessing overwhelming strength, they dominated everything, even mankind. Gabriel does not merely exterminate. He triggers the very collapse of this hybrid race, planting confusion, hatred, and self-destruction among them. It is as if judgment itself were inoculated into their essence. There are no records of dialogue, speeches, or hesitation from Gabriel. He does not come to explain, but to fulfill. His figure evokes the silent justice of God, the sentence that needs no explanation because it carries absolute truth. He is the messenger who comes with the end in his wings. Gabriel's role is profound. He closes the cycle that began with the impure desire of the Watchers. By eliminating the giants, he erases the visible legacy of the celestial rebellion. It is the final blow against the effects of sin that disfigured creation. But Gabriel also marks the transition to something even greater. His violent presence is not the end of judgment. It is the beginning of the universal reckoning. For even though the giants fall and the fallen angels are imprisoned, the eternal judgment is not yet complete. There are sealed abysses awaiting the appointed hour. There are silenced voices that will cry out again. And there is a message written, revealed to a righteous man, who will carry to the world the testimony of all that was seen. The pen of Enoch has not yet rested. When the four angels completed their missions, a silence fell over heaven and earth. It was the silence that precedes justice fulfilled. Azazel was cast into Jude, covered by sharp stones, imprisoned in darkness until the great day. Zemjaza and the other leaders of the Watchers were forced to witness the destruction of their giant offspring and the ruin of what they had built in rebellion. There was no escape, no immediate forgiveness. They were chained in deep abysses, sealed beneath mountains and hidden from time, awaiting the final sentence. The Book of Enoch describes these places of imprisonment with grim detail: caves of fire, bottomless pits, eternal darkness. There, the fallen angels were left in mourning and despair. Their cries no longer reached the heavens. Their pleas find no response. They begged Enoch to intercede for them. But the answer from the Most High was clear. They shall never ascend to heaven. They will never again see the light. The fall was final. Those who once beheld divine glory now tasted absolute separation. This was the price of deliberate disobedience. The earth, in turn, underwent a violent purification. The Nephilim were exterminated. The innocent blood spilled, cried out for justice, and creation could finally breathe without the weight of spiritual corruption. But this total cleansing would be completed and symbolized by the flood. The mission of the angels prepared the ground. God's judgment would come like waters that wash, destroy, and begin anew. The mission of the four celestial messengers was not merely to punish, it was also to initiate a new cycle, where the memory of the rebellion would remain as an eternal warning. However, despite the defeat of the Watchers, their consequences left deep marks. The knowledge they spread did not disappear. The seeds of vanity, violence, magic, and arrogance continued to sprout in the human heart. The battle had ended, but the war had not. The story of the fallen angels and the giants became a shadow that silently follows the unfolding of human history. And as we will see, that shadow was not trapped in the past. It stretches into the present day, challenging each generation to face its own invisible giants. The fallen angels were imprisoned, the giants destroyed, but the ideas they planted, those still live on. Spiritual corruption, unchecked vanity, the thirst for power and forbidden knowledge, all these elements continue to operate in human history. What began with a rebellion in the heavens still reverberates today in systems, philosophies, and behaviors that oppose the principles of the Creator. As if the whispers of the Watchers still hovered around consciences, now dressed in modern garb. Ideologies that exalt the ego, technologies without ethics, cults of the body and violence. We no longer see giants of flesh and bone walking among us, but the sons of Enoch have taken new forms. Today, our giants are internal, family traumas, enslaving addictions, injustices that span generations. They hide behind forced smiles, empty pursuits, and destructive patterns. Many live oppressed without realizing they are still in a spiritual war. The battles continue, only now they are fought within the soul, behind cultural curtains, in the subtlety of choices. And few realize that the enemy has already been defeated, yet still insists on appearing invincible. Just as Israel had to face giants to conquer the promised land, each person today must confront their own hidden enemies. Fear, unbelief, pride, self-pity. These are the new Nephilim. The difference lies in who faces them. The angels have already done their part. The truth has been revealed, the judgment executed, the warning delivered. Now it is up to humanity to discern the signs. We are repeating ancient patterns, trying to reinvent the Tower of Babel, wanting to be like gods while ignoring the origin of the fall. Perhaps that is why the Book of Enoch was silenced for centuries, because it doesn't speak only of the past. It reveals the present, because the story of the fallen angels is not just about them. It is about us, about our choices, our arrogance, our spiritual blindness, and about the fact that even with all the knowledge scattered, there are still many who walk without light. But that darkness will not last forever, for there are promises, visions, and judgments yet to be fulfilled, and the final warning is still to be proclaimed. And so the cycle closes. 4 angels, 4 roles, 1 command to restore the balance of creation. While the names of the Watchers faded into oblivion, the names of the faithful remained as silent pillars of eternal justice. Uriel, the light that reveals. Raphael, the healing that purifies. Michael, the sword that protects, Gabriel, the strength that executes. They were more than messengers. They were the line of defense between holiness and irreversible corruption. But what about us? We still live in a land marked by the traces of that rebellion. The giants are gone, but their legacies still breathe among algorithms, cameras, vanities, ideologies. The seeds sown by Azazel bloom in the shadows of modernity, and the question echoes, if the Watchers were judged so severely, what will be required of a generation that ignores the sacred and glorifies the profane? How often have we repeated the same mistakes, only with prettier names? Look around. Maybe you see ordinary people, but what if each one is fighting an invisible war? What if every choice is an echo of that ancient battle? Heaven still watches, and the throne, as in the days of Enoch, remains vigilant. One day the chains will be broken, and the fallen angels will once again face the face of eternity. What side of the story do you want to write with your life? If this touched your heart, leave a comment with the word Watcher and share this message with someone who needs to awaken. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and join us on this journey of light against darkness. May God always be with you.